Hello, this is Aaron with iPhone Data Recovery, and today I'm going to be working on an iPhone X. It's in here because it's been water damaged and the customer wants to recover the data off of the phone. So I haven't done anything to the phone yet other than open up the screen, and I just see general signs of corrosion. In this video I'm going to show you my methods of diagnosing and solving the problems on the board when I have water damage. So give me a moment, I'll pull the motherboard out and get started. So I have this motherboard out of its housing and exposed now. And I do basically the same thing every time when I have water damaged phones. There is definitely some variations, but like the formula is kind of the same. Basically I'll be removing any chips that are corroded that are not necessary, and I'll be replacing any chips that are corroded that are necessary. Also I'll be splitting the motherboard. The bottom half is not needed for data recovery other than to give it touch function, and I have a known good bottom board I can use that I know doesn't have any problems going on with it. So like I said, this one just looks like it has general signs of corrosion. I might have some shorts along these NAND lines here. In fact, let's just take a look at that now. Yeah, that looks like a short to me, so if I measure that with my multimeter, ground on this side. I'm not short on that side, so it's not short after all. So there's a short though. And I believe that's my either 1.8 line or 2.63 line. So that's fine. I'll get to that after I split the board. I think the first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and straight split this board and take a look at the more inner components that it has. So I'll go ahead and put this board on my heating platform here. And once it's ready to pull up, I'll split it. This takes about 3 or 4 minutes to heat up to the right temperature, so I'll go ahead and pause the video and be back once it's ready to pull. So this should be about ready to pull. So it doesn't look too bad. So I'm still always a little bit unsure about whether or not the audio chips are needed on these boards. Sometimes it seems it won't boot with them. It'll just show the Apple logo. It will like do this thing where it passes an update, but it stays on the Apple logo. Sometimes it gives a 3-minute reboot. It's a little bit different with every model, and I can't quite remember what it does on the 10. Those chips might be okay anyway. So I don't know if this board even has a main short on it, so let me measure that first. I know I have main right here on my display connector, and I do have a main short. It looks like there's more corrosion on this top board than it does on the bottom board. So I'm going to pull this shield right here as well and see if there's anything under here that looks bad. The touch chip is down here, and that's one that goes bad pretty often. Yeah, it looks pretty bad right there. So likely my main short is in this area. I should also clear this short while I have it remembered. Let's see if that line is clear now. No, that line is still short. So let's see what line that actually is. That is my 3VO NAND line. So let's go ahead and just inject into there and see where that heat's going. No matter what, I'll have to clear this short in order to get this phone to boot. So might as well do that now. It's not giving me a real clear signal. Let's just clear out some of these caps anyway. So I hope it's that one, because if it's not, it may just be, you know, internally in the board somewhere, or even in NAND itself, which would be a much bigger problem. So there are a few caps on this side as well, but these ones look okay. So let's see where they are though. Interesting. It looks like my PMIC is actually short. So that's not something I see very often. There's actually a couple more caps down here. You know what? These are going to be them. So these caps down here are also on that line. And that looks like it's going to be what my problem is. I didn't quite realize these were down here. I didn't see them before. Okay, so now I expect that line to be clear. Yeah, it's clear now. Let's see if I still have a main short. I assume I still do. I do. It's most likely under here or here, one of these two. Or, you know, these caps don't look great either. So this audio chip I know I can take off, so I'll do that first. Doesn't need to be here for me to get this phone to turn on and take data. Aside from that, I'm nearly certain this one's going to also need to be replaced, so I'll just pull that up now while the board's still warm. So this area could look worse. I've seen much worse than this before. Looks like I will have to repair some pads on this touch chip though. It's always a little bit annoying. So this is probably my main short. This area is a bit annoying to work on because you see me pretty frequently just remove caps that are short, but for the touch lines, a lot of these caps are needed. They're not just like smoothing caps. They're actually they're like coupling caps. So let's see if I'm still main short. I'm not quite sure. It looks almost normal, but it might be partial short still. If I inject a little bit of voltage, let's see if it gives me an amp draw. No amp draw. If I pump this voltage up to 4. Small amp draw. Full amp draw again. Okay. So I still have a main short, it seems like. Okay, that seems to have cleared main. I'll have to repair some of these pads now. This one might be okay if I just kind of put a blob of solder on the side here. This one has 2 vias on each side of it, it looks like. So let me check what those lines actually are. One of them is like the main voltage line that comes from the coil. The other one is just VDD main. So that's the same line on both sides of that, so that's good to know that they're both connected. This is just main. I think I'll be able to get away with just touching both of them with solder. I don't think I'll actually have to put a wire on it. I don't know. I guess I'll put a wire after all, just because I'm afraid that it's going to short some of the other lines. You know what? I think that will be fine. I don't actually think I need solder on both sides of that because they both just go over to the coil, it seems like. I think I will add a little bit of solder paste on this part though. So I'll let this cure and then I'll come back and place the chip on. Okay, this should be done curing. And I just wanted to make sure that that spot next, that like solder blob next to here wasn't going to short anything like this pad or even this one. So I'll place the new chip now. I didn't even cure that good, but I'm going to go ahead and just risk it anyway. First I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is actually booting. because I think it should be booting at this point already. And I'll do that just by verifying on my DC power supply what the amp draw looks like. Yeah, it looks normal. So it looks like it's booting already. It will just have no touch. So let's put this chip back. I'm hoping that these little tails are enough to grab the solder balls and give me a nice connection. And I'm hoping this one doesn't short to anything else. This capacitor may be needed here. I'm not 100% sure what will happen if it's missing, but let's just see what happens, and I'll put it on afterwards if I still have no touch. It may just be like a part of the screen doesn't work, and maybe I don't need that part. I recently broke my favorite tweezers, and I don't have any new favorite yet. These are much thicker than the ones I used to use. Should be about the right spot right here. It really doesn't look like the best placement of the chip, but maybe it's good enough. I gave it just a tad too much heat, so I have some solder balls right here, but I think that should be fine still. Chip looks okay. So let's grab a battery screen and a charge port and see if it's turning on, giving me image and everything. And if it is, I'll go ahead and grab my jig and a good bottom board and see if I have touch. But if everything went okay, which it's a little iffy whether or not it did, then this should be working at this point and ready to take data. Let's see. So I've got my screen, battery, and charge port here. Let's see if it's booting up and giving me image and everything's okay. Yep, so we have an Apple logo. And that's good enough for me. I'm already pretty sure it's going to boot. I don't want to wait here for it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my my jig now and a good bottom board. And let's see if touch is working. Okay, here's my jig. Here's my known good bottom board. Proper version. I think this is what, yeah, Qualcomm. I'm not 100% confident this will work just yet, just because I'm missing that one capacitor and it wasn't really the best placement of the chip. But maybe we got lucky. The iPhone 10 is particularly annoying when it comes to putting in this jig because it's so hard to balance everything properly. So still have Apple logo. I think you can probably just make that out. If this takes too long, I may have to force an update to the phone. I mean, if it just stays on this Apple logo. I can never quite remember on the 10 if you have to do that or not. Sometimes it seems like you do, sometimes it seems like you don't. It might be dependent on the iOS. Nope, there it goes. And I have touch. And it's booting to swipe up to recover screen. So it's not really, it's going to be in the way if I leave it right here. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug everything and get it closer to the computer before I do this. But this is going to be working now. I'm glad to see that the touch IC went down okay. And I guess that capacitor isn't exactly needed. But this one was a little bit sloppy, so I apologize for that. But the only thing that really matters is that I can get this phone to turn on and that I can pull the data from it and then, job complete. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you have a good one. Hope you stop by again. Bye-bye.